Welcome back to CTLA4 Chronicles.
Sorry it's been such a long break. It's just been kind of chaos here between the holidays and the kids have been sick.
Yeah, we had recorded a video, never got to edit it and put it up. Yeah, you're right, 2 videos.
We did 2 videos. And it was just, I don't know, I was too tired. I've been too tired.
Yeah, Jane's out of spoons. So
all the way out of spoons. I'm pretty sure we did a video on spoons. If you don't know what the spoon theory is, quick Google search will bring you up to speed.
yeah, it's a simple concept about, hey, you only have so much of anything left. So you could say spoons, blocks, fuel, whatever. And every task you do eats up X amount. And so we joke around that Jane only has spoons and let's say 10 for a day, and she'll use them all up and have to use tomorrow's spoons. And then it's just a downhill battle.
Yeah, then it's just like, okay, well, now I'm stuck in bed and I can't do anything. Like, I can't even think sometimes. I'm so tired, or my body is just so tired.
Yeah, and I'm still working full-time, so you generally edit the videos and stuff.
Yeah.
And if you just don't have the strength, you don't have the strength. And then so much has happened. We've had
it's been
several
quite busy.
appointments. We've had so much going on. And then not to mention the kids being sick. So they're on winter break right now. And we had a great Christmas, but unfortunately very segregated. That was weird.
Yeah, we were all wearing masks, and like the kids have been quarantined to like calling it like their side of the house right now.
Yeah.
And like it was weird. Last Christmas was weird too. Like we spent Christmas with my dad in Florida, but like it was different and it was split. And then like even when we came back up here right before transplant, like I had to be separated from the kids because they were sick, and they were sick for like 2 weeks before I went into transplant. And Catalina tested positive for the flu.
Yeah.
Remember that? And I was like bugging out,
Yeah.
thinking I was going to get the flu right before I went in. And I was like, oh,
That was
my gosh.
sometime after we came back from the road, though. We went on vacation.
Yeah.
then
No, I'm
we
just
came
saying how
home.
different, like,
they got
Christmas-
sick at school. Yeah. Yeah, Christmas has just been different around here with everything going on
Yeah.
with the transplant has made stuff difficult. So the kids have been sick for 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
Maybe a little bit longer. We heard a cough right before they finished school. Then they went on Christmas break.
And it's just like all 3 of them down for the count.
Yep, through New Year's. And we knew it. They were going to get better like 2 days before going back to school.
Yeah, they're on the up and up. They still have like that lingering cough though, so they're going to be wearing their masks and stuff in the house. And they're still, I think today we're going to lift like the segregation that we have going on.
They're going to be so excited.
I know. They still have to wear masks and stuff in the house, and we're Lysoling everything, and like anything they touch they have to clean and whatnot. And like we've been very fortunate to not
Get sick, yeah.
what they have, because like I know I wouldn't be able to handle that well
Yeah.
right now.
And then after that, Jane's had her own health problems too. So we'll get into some of the physical stuff and everything we had from the appointments, but like just in general.
Yeah, and like we have a whole thing kind of laid out for this episode. So like just as a heads up, there's like 6 or 7 topics that we're going to cover.
Yeah, it's a little long today.
Yeah, because it's been
Good though.
we're going to cover a lot though. Hopefully answer some questions that I know people have been asking.
Yeah. So did you want to talk anything else about your health, or do you want to go into?
We can roll right into the GVHD.
Yeah. So one of the problems that we've been dealing with the GVHD is that we finally got an official diagnosis from the doctors.
What, like a month ago now?
Yeah, early December.
Yep.
So early December, in one of the many appointments we haven't been able to cover in our videos here.
Yeah.
And not only was it a graft versus host disease, it's chronic.
Yeah.
So that just means it's late onset and long lasting, which changes a lot for us. We'll get into that as well. But, that just kind of sucks. And the weight gain's been a little out of control. That has nothing to do with you. It turns out we've got like leaky cells and all kinds of other issues. And the graft versus host disease, where it is in the fascia.
Yeah, and like it's crazy because like we haven't talked numbers with my weight because you never ask a lady her weight. But we are going to talk numbers today because I think it's important.
Yeah.
Which like Dan's seen the whole process, like what I looked like before transplant, coming out of transplant, like the rapid weight loss I had because of the chemo and how sick I was and everything else.
Yeah.
And then being like stable and being healthy and the weight that I was at, which was like 170, 180, I think. Over the summer, I was really, really good. I was very active. I felt amazing.
Yeah.
And then come like September, things started to get hard. And like I had slowly started to put on some weight, but then like it has been rapid.
Yeah, I would say slowly into September.
Yeah.
And then end of September, beginning of October, it was rapid because by mid-December, early December, So in the course of like 3.5 months, 3 months, you put on about 75 pounds total.
Yeah. And that's huge. 75 pounds is a lot. And if you think about that over like the span of even a year, that's a lot. And now you condense that into 3 months. And like we had talked about skin splitting from the amount of swelling that I'm having and stuff. And like we saw that a while ago. And my doctor had joked, like, oh, well, at least we're not dealing with that yet. Oh no, we're dealing with that now. It's like stretch marks, but it's like being able to actively feel the stretch marks happening to your skin. It is
this is early
awful.
stages, and we had said before, like, we weren't going to put up images. We're still not. Like, if you want to look that up, what the skin splitting looks like, that goes all the way down to the muscle. Like, you can see exposed insides.
Yeah, right now it's just my skin, like literally just like stretch marks, like the top layer of skin is.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate. Progression's not good, but we know what the path forward is. We've
Theoretically, because we're trying
think about
to
it.
do
The
treatment.
treatments, right? So we got rid of which treatments? The Jakafi's gone now.
Yeah, the Jakafi, however you want to say it. Yep, I weaned off that, and that one sucked. I didn't think like weaning off of an immunosuppressant would really do much, but it made me feel like crap while we were doing it. So we're off of that one now. That one's completely done.
Yep.
And that one was the second medication I went on when we started dealing with this in May. So in May, I started having problems with my joints and shoulders and stuff. Like I couldn't take a t-shirt off or put one on. I couldn't sleep with my arms above my head. I was
You were
stiff all the
still like
time.
in the 150 range though.
Oh yeah. No, I'm just talking about like
And
medications
it was
we tried.
right. And then in August, you went up to like 170, then to 180
Yeah.
right away, and then kind of plateaued, and then you went up from there. I was just talking about like the weight gain that we've seen.
So yeah, and like we didn't even really notice the weight gain because like we knew my weight was going to be fluctuating post transplant. So like at the time we didn't even it didn't matter.
Right.
And I felt so good aside from like my joints and stuff, like it didn't matter. So they started me on prednisone originally and it helped amazingly. And then when we tried to come off of it, I couldn't. So we added the Jakafi and then that didn't allow me to come off the prednisone. And I've been on prednisone since May.
Yeah.
And I was only off of it from March until May, which was glorious. So glorious. I hate prednisone. Some people call them the devil's Tic Tacs.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. They work so well to put out fires and stuff, but like the side effects, hate it.
Yeah.
So put me back on the prednisone and I was on that all the way through summer, but like varying doses and stuff. And then I started to like really kind of swell. And we started the Rezurock, and we upped my prednisone. And then we upped the prednisone. So Rezurock is number 3 in the line of therapy. So I'm still on that one.
For now.
They don't really think it's doing much, but we didn't want to like stop all of my meds while starting a new one and changing like the steroid dose and stuff while we're still trying to figure this out because then we have no idea what's actually working.
Yeah.
Which I feel like we do this every time something happens, though. And we changed like 3 meds.
Yeah, which is a terrible idea.
At the same time.
Yeah.
And then we have no idea what's helped or what hasn't. And then we're like, okay, maybe it really is the prednisone that's been helping the most. And it's like, okay, can we figure this out definitively?
Yeah.
The answer to that's no, by the way.
But we are working on it. There's new treatments. So right now we know of like 4 or 5 lines of defense. And then after that, it goes to experimental.
Yeah, like clinical trials.
We're on the assumption that we have 3 failures right now, and we're on the 4th line.
Yes.
So we cut off the Jakafi, however you want to say it. Mm-hmm. That's one of the old ones. Currently, you're still on the prednisone, Rezurock, for the time being.
Yep.
And we're trying this new stuff, which is another infusion.
Axilitlimab or something. Yep. I'm close. Axilitlimab. I don't know. I said that we should jokingly call it the axolotl drug because our girls love axolotls and they would have gone bananas. But
yeah, if they heard a drug name with some axolotl.
Yeah. So we started that infusion this past week on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I did my first dose of that.
We'll get into that for the details for the appointment itself. But like, so that's what we've done now and what's currently working. And we're down to...
And that's a monoclonal antibody too. Because like I have this special hoodie. Are we talking about that now or later?
Oh, you can go ahead. I don't care.
Yeah. So I have 2 hoodies. They say Faith Over Fear on them. One's black and one's brown. And they have these really convenient zippers up the sides of the arms. So that way when I go for infusions or blood work or whatever, I can keep my hoodie on and I can stay warm and I don't have to like get undressed or, plan certain clothing. It just works out. So I go in to get my IV place and stuff in the morning on Tuesday when I get my blood work done. And I was so excited. You know, I unzip my arm, I take my arm out, I give it to her and everything. And she goes, "What infusion are you getting?" So I tell her. She asked me what it's for, and I said cGVHD. And we talked about it. It's a monoclonal antibody. And she goes, "Oh, yeah, I can't put that in the AC." And the AC is in, like, the inside of your elbow.
Yeah.
And so she had to put it in my hand, which made the hoodie a complete bust because I can wear whatever I want if they're going to put them in my hands.
Right.
So that kind of sucked. But, like, first world problems suck.
Yeah. So with that being said, those are the 3 that you're on. There's only 1 left.
Yeah.
So.
Which they wanted to skip to. Yeah. That's kind of part of number 5. We can keep going.
So with this, what happened is there's one with the red light therapy, and for lack of better terms, for anybody who's not like really into this kind of medicine or knows what's going on, it's a lot like dialysis. We will put a line in, take the blood out, they're going to clean it, add some stuff to it, zippy zappy with the red lights, put it in another port, another hole in you.
Put it back in.
Put it back in. Now it's clean blood.
It's not just clean. It's like reprogramming the cells to attack the cells that are causing GVHD. Yeah. It's quite interesting. And apparently it's been around for a really long time. I didn't know that until our team said it on Tuesday. Yeah. That it's like an old therapy, but it's like really effective. Yeah. It's just incredibly cumbersome. And like it's a process. It's 2 consecutive days. I can't remember if they said it was weekly or bi-weekly.
Weekly.
But okay, so that's even more cumbersome. So it's 2 consecutive days weekly that you have to go for treatment. I would have to get a hotel in Boston because there's no way I'd be driving home. The treatments are like 4 to 6 hours. Yeah. And you do it until you see improvement. Yeah. I guess. I don't know. But
yeah, the crappy thing is most of the stuff has a 70%. How do they say
success rate? Yeah, it works 70% of the time for people who take it. So Jackafi had a 70% success rate for people with chronic GVHD. It did not work for me. 70%
of the time, it works every time.
Yep, not for me.
Not for you.
Prednisone's kind of a catch-all for everybody. That one doesn't have a statistic. But then the Rezurock,
yeah, I think they said that one has a
70%. Yeah, when we started that one, and I thought I saw improvement and stuff, and I think it was the prednisone and not really the Rezurock. Because by now we should have seen something, and I haven't noticed anything. Yeah. And then this new infusion of the monoclonal antibody is supposed to be 70% as well. So.
Yeah, it feels like a really generic number. They just throw out everything's 70%, but here we are.
Yeah.
So that's what we have left. Unfortunately, all of this is new to not just our doctors, all the doctors. Mm-hmm. So we currently are working with the head of the department. He has been phenomenal. The team, the direct team that we work with, amazing. Obviously, this has gotten so out of control that he's doing his best and like talking to peers within the hospital and outside the hospital, and nobody has seen this. Nobody has seen these presentations, which why not? If it can be hard, why not us?
Yeah, if there's like a small chance of something happening, usually it's we're going to make sure we catch that chance. Yeah. And like in this case, he said that he presented my case to a team of transplant doctors and nobody has seen a presentation. Like he was looking for ideas for anything. Like, is this GVHD? Is it a medication side effect? Is it something, unrelated somehow? And nobody had any.
Like something that snuck through the transplant that didn't get obliterated through the chemo or radiation.
And so like we know we've killed CTLA-4 haploinsufficiency for me. Dead in 2025, baby. Dead. So we know that's not the problem. I'm 100% chimerism, which means it's not rejection, which is great.
That is huge news.
Yes. It just means that the new cells are incredibly overactive. It's actually almost like dealing with CTLA-4 again, just different. Yeah. Because I feel like we're back at almost the same pressure price we were at I said that wrong, but whatever. At this point last year, where it was like a race against time to
save your life.
Yeah, and that's where I feel like we're almost at again, where it's like we need to get this under control, because they did tell us that like without getting this under control, it will progressively get worse. And what that looks like, I don't know. I also haven't asked.
And you might think that we're casually handling this, but for anybody with chronic illness. They know. What else are you going to do? Do you want to see us spiral out of control and not be able to maintain the family and our love for each other with the time that we have and try to have clear heads to look for options going forward, or act like this? So for us, I mean, it's just hold it together. Because what else? What's your other option? Just fall apart and yell, woe is me? Not today.
No, and I mean, I did do one of those like crash out videos like 3 weeks ago when I started Resurrock, and I was like, I really hope in 2 weeks I can look back at this video and kind of laugh at myself and be like, this is ridiculous. And here we are, and we're past 2 weeks, and it didn't go the way I was like, praying.
Yeah.
But it's all in his time, not our time, right?
And so, unfortunately, this changes the timeline of stuff. So, generally, with the transplant, for those that don't know, your big milestones are at 100 days, checking chimerism, making sure everything's going the right way. And then again at 1 year, hoping that you can get like a clear bill of health. Hey, you got to do X amount of maintenance. You got to do X amount of
you got to do like vaccines and stuff. And it's it's years of follow-up.
Yeah.
But in general.
But you get the green light to be in public and do stuff if your T cells are right and your immune system's functioning.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with chronic graft versus host disease, we're now changing that from 1 year to 3 to possibly 5 or whatever it takes to battle this new front and get it under control.
Yeah, it's a lot, and I feel like they casually told us that a month and a half ago, maybe longer than that, when they were like, "All right, this is going to be a ride, like we're in it, and it's going to be, 3 maybe 5 years before we can kind of look at things the way you would look at things if this had gone the way that everybody hoped it would have gone." And that's the thing with the transplant, and it's not just me, it's everybody, is like everybody's body is different. Every single transplant is different. Like what you went through, what your body was like beforehand makes a huge difference on like how you're going to handle transplant and how you're going to get through it, and like what you look like kind of on the other side. Because like I've talked to people who had almost no complications at all, went through transplant, and I say went through like it's easy breezy, but it's not. They went through it, and at a year are back to living a normal life.
Yeah,
they're if they wanted to work again and they're capable, they're back at work, they're going on vacations, they're traveling. I know people who were traveling at 6 months post transplant because like their cells were good and like they got the clear from the doctor. Me on the other hand, I'm not even supposed to be like in a crowded anything near people, even if they like don't seem sick. I'm still not supposed to be around anybody, even with a mask, everybody wearing masks like that. That's how low like my T cells still are. I don't have an immune system, and that sucks.
There's enough in there to give each other high fives, and that's about it. There's not a lot going on with your T cells.
No, which is also so crazy to think that like, well, actually I don't know what cells are causing the GVHD. I thought it was the T cells, but that just goes to show medicine is a practice. Yeah. I'm still learning.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about last week's appointment and what we gained out of there. So we met with the team.
Yep. We had the head of transplant.
Yep. Everybody was there together. He brought some other doctors with him that day. That was kind of funny, but it was to talk about a plan and what we are looking at forward. So that kind of rolls into what happened this week with the infusion, but also like they laid down, hey, this is what we've done. This is what we're cutting out. This is what we are going to try right now and what's next. The nice thing was that he was like super on board with changing as little as possible at a time to try and identify what this is. And he spoke to us about like, hey, we need this much time to figure out if it was this drug, this much time to see if it's that drug, between like a new thing working or an old thing being out of your system. Yeah. So there was a lot that happened without anything happening because it was very informative and a lot of planning. We couldn't execute anything that day, even if he wanted to, because of just how long it takes to order the medication and get it ready.
Because he talked about, he was like, if we could have started you on this infusion today, we would. And instead I started it this week, which was just 1 week afterwards, which is great because you need insurance approval and everything else. Drug's not cheap, whatever. And like, thankfully insurance approved it. And I'm glad we did it last week, right before the new year. Oh, insurance is changing though. We're going to have to get all new prior authorizations.
That's fine.
But it made it easier to roll into getting my infusion on the 14th because now I don't have to wait for that. It's not the beginning of the year. It's not whatever. So that was nice. It was a little concerning though when he was like, "Oh, if we could start you today, we would," because I feel like that really shows you how serious things are. Because like these doctors have fantastic poker faces, and we've talked about that, but I feel like their poker faces are coming down. A little bit.
Showing us the truth about how serious some of this stuff is.
But he did say he was pretty confident that like if this infusion is working, we should like have an idea by my next infusion if it is working. Like I should feel different. So I'm trying not to be like too optimistic about how I feel, especially like yesterday was a bad day, but today's much better. But I have these days and I go like this all the time. So I'm like hesitant. If I feel better tomorrow, maybe.
A little more excitement.
Maybe. But
And then, so that was last week. What else did we do last week? We went and saw
we saw the feelings doctor. I did my lung test. We saw the pain doctor.
All right, let's talk about the palliative team and what we saw and gained there. So
I will praise palliative care forever because I didn't have them before transplant, and they've made a huge difference in my life, my quality of life, through transplant and post-transplant, even if they were part of the problem for me having withdrawals. But like my team now is great. I'm on a medication called Lyrica that helps my nerve pain like tremendously. Like I couldn't, functioning beforehand was very hard, especially after transplant because like the chemo and radiation made my nerve pain 100 times worse. I didn't even know it could get that bad. And now the Lyrica, like I can function most of the time without really feeling any pain. And my transplant doctor is concerned that there might be some side effects with that medication that could be contributing to my swelling. But that one's like really hard to tease out because I've been on this med since April or May and I didn't have side effects, like especially the swelling and stuff that didn't start bad until end of September, beginning of October. So that's a long time to not have those side effects. And like our palliative team agreed, like we met with the MD this week, we met with her APRN last week. And this week she said that she, kind of agreed that it's probably not the Lyrica, but the only way to like know for sure is to come off. And that's a whole process. I'm not.
Yeah, but at least you had a plan and said that like we could change a med to this med to bridge the gap so you wouldn't be back in a world of pain. So that was a plus. And the APRN was great last week, but realized, hey, this case is getting pretty in depth. And it wasn't even about like your complications and like managing your pain. It seemed more like it was about to get into like a doctor pissing match. And she's like, hey, I recognize I'm an APRN, and sometimes the doctors, even though I have the ability to do X, Y, and Z for medicine. MD to MD, yeah, I was like, I'm just not going to win this battle, even if it was for information only. So like we had different disciplines that were debating which treatments were best for Jane, and the value that we got out of that was like, hey, I think this and that could be causing problems. Let's just take you off these meds, but it's not that simple. Right. And that's where it was nice to have the palliative team, because the palliative team is like, nope, we understand all these different kind of pain medications. We follow the studies. We understand like what the side effects are and what we've seen. And they're like, we've never seen anything like this, which
of course.
How many times in a day can you check that one off?
Yeah, right.
That bingo card's been stamped a few times. But that basically through all the testing and everything they've seen and all the usage, the most they see on average is about 10-pound difference in weight, and nothing like what we're discussing.
And it's in the extremities, like in the hands and the feet. It's not really in the face, or like I literally have it everywhere. It's not like just in certain spots. It is systemic, my whole body, even my back. Like it is hard to explain, but even my back is retaining fluid. Yeah. So like I don't think it's the Lyrica.
No. And again, the big thing with like the extremities, it's only supposed to be from like the wrist down, but it's your full arm, your torso, your back, your face, neck, legs, feet. Yeah. So
insides.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's crazy. But I'm glad that like we kind of got that sorted out, because the doctor for palliative care said that she was going to fully explain this to the rest of the team and kind of try to get their feedback to see if like we should go forward with trialing not taking the Lyrica, or just kind of, I don't want to say forgetting that, but like putting that on the back burner and focusing more on the other drugs. But we'll see. And then the positive news from last week's appointment was my lung test.
Yeah. So last week we had the lung functions test, and that was good because I was under the suspicion this whole time with some of the complications, and like Jane had brought up to the staff, like, hey, I'm having shortness of breath, I'm having complications with this, like, well, let's do a lung function test and check to make sure that you're exchanging gas and holding volume the way that you should, and the length of time. The great news was during the test, not only did you pass,
I improved.
And to me, that was just, hey, like, in this setting, on this focus, with this much stress and like you thinking about what you need to do, it was easy for you to pass the test, and you did well because there's not a problem with your lungs. And we definitively assigned that last week, knowing there's not a problem with the lungs, but presumably all of the swelling and everything inside. So when your open space inside your, torso is filling up with liquid, and things are just not where they belong, and all this inflammation, it's not allowing your lungs to fill up the way they should. And that's where you're finding the shortness of breath and stuff.
Yeah, which, like, I'll take that over having a problem with my lungs or having, like, GVHD in my lungs, because, like, that is a whole different thing. And I've been terrified of that since before transplant. So that makes my heart feel really good that, like, that came back, that I was better than beforehand. I'm not quite where I was before transplant, but even before transplant, they said that my lung function was like
pretty good.
Yeah, he said 104%. So I was 104% better than the population, which is like, or like my age group and whatever.
Right. Yeah, because they do it by gender and age.
And then like smoking versus non-smoking.
Right. And they compare everybody. But it's not just smoking versus non-smoking. It's how long have you smoked, how much have you smoked.
Oh, yeah. That was also really interesting to find that like they don't really care unless you're like a 25 pack year smoker.
Yeah.
Which, like, I've heard that and I've seen that, like, checking family members' scans and stuff on there. It'll say how many years you've smoked and the risk associated with that being higher, obviously, with 25 years. But it was interesting to hear, like, the respiratory therapist be like, oh, yeah, we don't even, like, bat an eye unless you're here.
Yeah, unless you smoke X amount of cigarettes a year for this many years, they don't care.
It was just interesting because I was always under the assumption that it was like less than that would be causing damage too, but whatever. He also said it was like a lot of it's genetic, which was an interesting fact. So
a lot to unpack on that one.
Yeah, it was actually kind of a fun appointment too, because he was like dressed very festively and he was kind of silly with like the whole appointment.
Yeah, we went on the 23rd. So, the whole staff, we were there. People were taking pictures and making Christmas cards and handing out gifts.
Oh, yeah. It was Christmas parties galore on all the floors and stuff. And it was good.
Yeah. Then, did you want to talk about the feelings doctor, how we went to that one?
And it was a good appointment. I don't know what I was expecting when we went into it. So we call it the feelings doctor. But like with transplant and everything else, a lot of stuff happens, right? Physically and mentally. And the mental stuff isn't talked about a lot. So we got referred to just like a psychologist.
Well, isn't she part of the
survivorship program?
Right. So there's a whole program afterwards for everybody who's, had a successful transplant or a transplant, in trying to help them navigate things and talk to them about like, hey, this may or may not be going on in your life. And like at first, we both kind of laughed. Like we've been dealing with medical trauma for years. There's an episode about just medical trauma.
Yeah.
So we're like, we'll just go in with open minds and be polite. We were asked to be there. We were already in Boston. We're just a time in between appointments. So why not go? Kind of thing. We didn't select this. It was really cool. So we were really surprised that the appointment was as positive as it was. We went in, talked to the doctor, got a lot of positive feedback from her. The big thing was the communication aspect and what one individual's going through, which is you in this case, and then the spouse and the family relationship and everybody else around you, how your friends now talk to you, family members and stuff. And the woman was great because she's like, you guys could give a master class on communication and what we are trying to help people achieve through this program.
Yeah.
So,
It was kind of cool because, like, we go in expecting, well, not really expecting anything because just unsure. And then to be told that, like, we're killing it. Yeah. But it's, like, cool. And at the same time, it's frustrating because it's, like, I would like life to be a little bit easier for killing it.
Yeah.
To hear from so many different doctors and stuff that, like, you guys are rocking socks. You're making it happen. And it's like,
Yeah.
Why doesn't it feel like it then? Because I feel like we were just constantly like fighting, and we're never at a place of feeling like we're killing it. At least I don't.
Well, I think she meant just the fact that we don't hate each other. There's not internal struggles. We're just taking on the struggles that we're facing daily, like all the medical challenges and everything already going on in life, and still happy to be with each other, still raising a family, and as productive as we are.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
Just usually when somebody's like, "You guys are killing it," I'm like, I want to feel like I'm killing it.
That does make sense. I agree with you. 'Cause it is rough roads.
I wouldn't want to be on these rough roads with anybody but you, though.
Oh, I love you, babe.
I love you too.
So that appointment ended well. It was mostly like, hey, give yourself grace for these reasons and learn how to communicate with each other. But we already do that. And
She did really. One thing she did say that I liked a lot was I was talking about like what I call body dysmorphia.
yeah,
And then she explained that it's not body dysmorphia. It's how does she describe it? Body integrity. You wake up every day, especially for people who are not sick. You wake up every day and you expect your body to be a certain way. You expect it to look the way that it's been looking and function the way that it's been functioning without like hiccups. Like everybody has something, right? Like you get sick
wake
or
up
whatever,
sick or something like that or whatever. Right.
But in general, your body is your body, the way that you've known it every day, you know? Yeah. And in my case, that is not what's happening. I have changed so much in this year, but then just in the last few months that like looking in the mirror, I don't look like the same person. I don't look like the same person to me or anybody else. I feel like the same person inside. Yeah. But like I look completely different. And like, I don't know, to hear her say it that way.
Yeah, there was other like points in the meeting that I wish I remembered them all now, but it left us like, you know, a lot of room to think for ourselves about like what we are dealing with and really just kind of open up the mind on how we feel and what we're seeing. So it was a lot more positive than we expected it to be. So I'm glad that we went in open-minded and took the appointment because I think it definitely bared enough. Like it was definitely worth it.
It was a lot that came out that was like, you know, like you said, like give yourselves grace and stuff, but like hearing it from her point of view, working with like, you know, other survivors and stuff like that and hearing what she had to say. And then like, for me personally, like helping me kind of cope with, you know, the physical changes mentally. Cool. Yeah, that was nice because like I could give myself a hard time a lot.
Yeah, so that was to pretty much wrap up last week. And this week we also had an appointment and the infusions. So we can go over this week where you had blood work done, which is pretty much the norm every time we get to Boston. Yeah,
when we go, my first thing like is blood work because they want to have all the labs in by the time I see the transplant team. So that's like, you know, you get in, you check in, and you immediately go to the second floor for labs. And then everything else kind of follows. So we did labs, then we saw the team. And then did we see palliative this week?
We did.
Yeah, so we saw palliative care again this week. And then after that, we went to the infusion or however the order went.
Yeah. So going off the blood work, it looked pretty much the same, which is great. It had showed some signs of getting worse. At least that's what it looked like to us. But the percentage or the margin of change was not enough to alert the team. So that was good news, I guess.
Yeah, it's still stable in their book where like I don't need a transfusion for red blood cells or platelets. Mm-hmm. So that's what they consider like stable. And like I've gone into the green for platelets. And my hemoglobin started to look a little better a few weeks ago. And then all of that's kind of trending back downwards again. Which like kind of coincides with like these flares or whatever that I have with the cGVHD. So not enough for them to be like, okay, we need to do something about this, but enough for us to be like, not going in the right direction.
Yeah. So blood work was kind of a bust. No real indication of anything. Nothing special.
Oh, my kidneys though didn't get worse like they had been. They had like with the Lasix and everything had been increasingly like stressed. Yeah. And then this week leveled out, which was great. So they upped my Lasix. That was the other thing that we changed. Is we did officially up my Lasix too.
Yep. That was last week.
Yeah. Whatever week.
After a week, I mean, we haven't noticed much change though, which is the shitty part.
Yeah. I mean, it makes me feel better on the day to day, but it hasn't I'm still, you know, shoveling buckets of water out of a boat that has an active leak.
Yeah.
And it's just like whatever I shovel out is replaced just as quickly as I'm getting it out. So the Lasix help me feel more comfortable, but they're not like getting ahead of anything. And like the team explained that we're just treating a symptom, not the problem.
Right. Furthermore, as we were in the appointment and discussing these facts with them, they actually talked about admitting you. So almost got stuck in Boston.
That would have sucked. We used to have like a go bag or like a bag that you would have for people who are like pregnant and stuff, like your go bag, you're ready to go because you could be admitted at any time. And we used to have those ready for me and for the kids. And we haven't at all. So like we're up in Boston completely unprepared to be admitted. And we jokingly said like if I was going to be admitted, he was leaving immediately because he was going to have to come home and pack a bag and then come back up to Boston. Because who knows?
Probably rest, then come home and take care of the kids.
Yep, because who knows how long I would have been stuck up there for. They were talking about doing high dose IV steroids to get me. I was going to say antibiotics, but that was the wrong thing. To try to get this under control. But after they had like a brief meeting with the team during our appointment, and they don't think that that's going to help enough.
Right. We're still not going to resolve the problem. We're just going to keep adding Band-Aids to situations, which is not what we wanted. So. No. We went through that, and then we continued the exam afterwards, which, it was just kind of nice to get validated by the team and have the staff.
I really did kind of, I'm trying to think of the word when you, like, surprise somebody.
Kind of threw it out there, yeah.
Yeah, because she came into the room like she always does. She's like, hey, how are you? How things are going? And I was like, I forgot to ask the nurse for a gown. And I need you to see my body. So I basically just like stripped for her. Yeah. Because like at this point, it doesn't matter. I just need her to see my skin and like touch me and feel like what I'm dealing with on a daily basis. And like that's when I think the poker faces started to come down a little bit more because I changed so much from last week to this week that it was like
drastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's notable changes and stuff and with the damage to your skin and what's going on. So, we were already on the path to do more treatments, and that was the point of the infusion that was going to happen later that day. We just wanted them to document, hey, this progression is fast and it is serious. Because a lot of times when you speak, like with the poker face, it's hard to tell because the doctor, with the comments and what they're saying, they are listening to us and taking us serious and helping. But with our history and how many places we've been to through this wild journey, so many times we go in and speak to a doctor and they're like, oh, you're all set, and just send you home. And that's not what we're looking for. That was not going to help us at all. And you know what? We left this appointment not feeling like that. Yeah. Which was great. So it was nice to have that reassurance in.
This team generally is amazing. It's the best team that we've ever had for me. And like, they're not like, oh, once you get better, we're just going to brush you off. Like Dr. Anton said.
No, you're here for the long haul.
Yeah. Like if he could be my doctor, like,
for life, he would.
He would be, and he wants me to be able to fire all of my other doctors. And, we say fire, but, like, get rid of them. Yeah. And then I would really just have my team up in Boston and then, like, my primary care here. And, like, theoretically, that should be it. And we haven't gotten there yet, which is fine. But
working on it. Yeah. Work in progress.
Yeah. Great team.
So then after that appointment, because when we wrapped that all up, and I mean there wasn't much more to pull out of that.
Oh yeah, no, we talked about but they were pretty concerned. We talked about being admitted. Yeah. They said it was kind of a bust. They don't love that idea right now. The infusion we wanted to try, so we did that. And then we also talked about, like, I don't want to say skipping the infusion, but almost skipping the infusion and going right to the next treatment, which is the ECP, which is the extracorporeal photopheresis.
Yeah. So that's the red light therapy that we're talking about. That's the technical term, and he's
calling it red light therapy, but it's UVA light, and like however they do it, and this is just it's how we.
Everybody's hot into the red light therapy thing now, so it just makes sense. Look, take the blood out, slap it with some stuff, the monoclonals or whatever they're adding to it. They inject the blood, then they zap it, zippy zap with the lights. Now it's been cleaned and being reprogrammed, and it gets shoved right back into your body to go fight different cells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah, that's a simplified version, so everybody understands it.
No, I like it. I just don't want people to think that it's like just you can take red light and fix this.
You can fix anything with anything, okay?
All right.
Hit it with your hammer, or you hit it with some money. And those are the two options. Hit it with your wallet or hit it with a hammer.
So anyway, I love you. We talked about that, but we wanted to give this a try and see how I feel at the 2-week mark. But like that might be a real thing in the future, like near future.
Yeah. So if this is considered the next failed therapy, what we're currently on,
Yeah.
this infusion, then that's the next step.
Yeah. And they, when I was getting my IV placed originally, when I found out my hoodie was a bust, the phlebotomist was asking me about what treatments I was going through, and we were talking about it. And I brought up the ECP treatment, and she goes, "Oh yeah, you're going to need a port for that." And I was like, "Oh, what?"
Which sucks, but at the same time was really nice that while we were going from this to the infusion, we had a great nurse there who was wonderful,
Love her.
not only with the care, but with education. So as we're telling her how the day went, all of our appointments, she had a dummy, brings out
Yeah,
this.
she had a mannequin. She goes, "Do you guys just want to see the mannequin with all the different things?" Because like what I had before was a central line, and specifically a Hickman, a double lumen Hickman. So I had 2 like ports on it, basically, that you could plug into. And it went into my chest here, and then was tunneled. So gross, makes me want to throw up. Tunneled up over my collarbone, and then like down in and then into my heart. So you could see it like up over my collarbone. It was gross. The whole experience was awful. I was really happy to have it removed. And now they're
That was
talking,
gross.
yeah. And now they're talking about having to have a port placed. And so there's ports, there's PIC lines, there's central lines. There's several different methods, I guess, to
Get to the heart. Yeah.
yes. And she goes, "Do you guys just want to see the dummy so you can see the difference?" And we were like, "Yeah, that'd actually be great." So she brought out this whole. It was just like the chest of a dummy,
Yeah.
or a mannequin or whatever, and it had the central line, and it had a PIC line,
In the arm.
which was in the arm, and then it had the port, which is in the other side of the chest, and that one's the one that they access with like a needle. And obviously, if you're going through treatments and stuff, like you know what a port is if you have one. But for those who don't know, it is a device that gets implanted under the skin, similar to a central line, but instead of having like the lumens hanging out, and you have to be careful about everything, and the whole thing is like crazy, like wearing dressings and stuff. This one's under the skin, so you can shower normal, you can bathe normally.
They just stab into you
And
until
they
they
just
break into it.
stab a needle into it to plug into the port. The whole thing makes me sick.
Yeah, it's
Anyway,
pretty gross.
I asked my doctor when we were talking about this treatment and stuff, and I was like, "Do I have to get a port?" Because the phlebotomist downstairs said I did, and she goes, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, you're gonna need a port." I was like, "Damn it."
Yeah, at least the procedure's asleep because they got to do so much cutting and connecting this.
Yeah, at least this one like is for realsies asleep. Like OR, you're going on nights. Put this whole thing in. Unlike this one. This one I was awake. It was awful. I was also awake when they removed it, which was worse
Yeah, that's pretty
than it
gross.
being put in. So the whole thing, I'm just really, really praying that this treatment works for so many reasons. One, so I can like live
That'd
and
be
be
cool.
more comfortable.
I would like that.
Yeah, yeah. And 2, so I don't have to have another device tunneled into my skin and into my heart. It makes me want to throw up every time I think about it. And it's like just gross to touch. And my like scarring from this actually still hurts.
I believe that.
Yeah, not great. Anyway, so that's what we talked about.
Got real uncomfortable when that got real.
Sure did. Yeah, the infusion part though with the nurse that we had was great. She was the my first outpatient nurse to change my central line dressing, and she was amazing. She was so nice. She was funny. Her and I just like clicked. And then I had my central line removed like 2 weeks later, and I never saw her again. And I haven't needed to go to the infusion center aside from like I think I had one infusion for magnesium months and months and months ago. And she wasn't my nurse. So when I saw her name pop up, I was telling Dan, I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I love this lady and this is going to be great." And then she ended up being phenomenal again. And the infusion was only 30 minutes. It's this tiny, tiny little bag, which is too funny because they come in, with a hazmat bag, like
Yeah,
chemo.
because it's all under controls like chemo.
Yeah.
Right?
And they got, she also explained to us the different colored gloves and what that meant, and that it's for chemo ratings. So we didn't know that.
Yeah. Learned a lot about the hospital this past trip.
Yeah, it was a pretty good trip. I'm sad you can't come with me in my next appointment.
Yeah, silly work. More importantly, silly kids. Somebody's got.
Yeah, I was going to say it's their appointments that are the ones that are kind of making it that I got to go alone.
Yeah.
So it's been...
So that being said, it kind of changes how much time we're spending traveling and back in Boston. So We didn't really cover too much with the rest of the family, but like coming up soon, we got an appointment and a procedure with Catalina
this week. Yep.
Oh, I forgot it was this week. Spending a couple days up in Boston.
Yep. So we actually, she's going to be having a colonoscopy and an endoscopy and a capsule, a pill cam capsule placed in her small intestine during the procedure. And because we've had problems with every single colonoscopy we've done for this child, I think we've done 5.
Yeah, it's terrible.
We can never get a complete clean out ever. So this time they're being much more thorough and they're having us start her clean out like 3 days in advance. So I don't even think she can go to school this week because I guess maybe she could Monday, but she's got to start Monday with Miralax and then Tuesday and then the procedure's on the 7th, but you guys are getting admitted on the 6th. So you're going to have to spend the night. Well, you should be home on the 7th and like late, like 8 o'clock probably.
Yeah, maybe I'll do like I don't know. We'll figure out work stuff later.
Yeah, we got to figure out the schedule this week. But so we have that going on.
A lot going on.
Yeah, Catalina's been like up and down. So we're doing this procedure.
Excuse me.
This will be the first procedure, like colonoscopy she's had off of steroids. Yeah. So we might actually get some answers from this, but like track records with family, with myself, my sister, my mom, like we all had colonoscopies. I've had 5 or 6. Maybe more, and they've never found anything definitive. They just find they find inflammation, but it's like non-specific inflammation, or it's T cell like pockets that they find, and they can't quite pin it down. So I'm sure it's going to be something like that. But if it was like Crohn's disease, she would get treatment for that. Yeah,
we would know this week. Yeah. So we got that, and then your appointments are bi-weekly right now.
Bi-weekly, yep.
So you're going to go up every 2 weeks.
For treatment,
For treatment, and at least, again, the infusion's quicker than we suspected.
Yeah, 30 minutes isn't bad.
No. And then after that, as long as this works, it'll be every 2 weeks for at least 6 months, they said. Once we started this treatment, it had to go for 6 months.
Yeah.
And then the next treatment is something along that timeline as well, but that one's going to be 2 days.
Every week.
And
that one's like the 4 to 6 hour thing. Every time you go, it's 4 to 6 hours.
So we're spending a lot more time in Boston now.
It's a lot.
If you find anywhere good to eat or the area, let us know what we can check out on the quick.
We did find one place this last time. I was actually thinking about this last night about when I go up on Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever. Amelia's Cluckin' Chicken. Oh my gosh.
Out. They are not sponsoring us.
No, that was phenomenal. I'm still thinking about the sandwich that I had there. It was so good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back. But so our podcast, we wanted to be doing these weekly. That was like our original plan. And it's a lot with everything that we have going on right now. So they're just gonna kind of be when we can.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way to have an expectation, unfortunately.
We've tried the last 3 days to do a podcast, and it hasn't worked out. And like yesterday, I really wanted to, and I just couldn't. I couldn't get myself like really off the couch. I was just tired, very tired. And like it's not like we're doing much, but it takes a lot mentally. Like you got to plan this out. You got to talk about it. And then just talking about all of our medical trauma in general.
Anybody that puts up content, I think, gets it though.
Yeah, no, that's
true. And then it snowed, and I had to go do the driveway, which is no easy feat.
No. And we did have some help from neighbors come down, and they shoveled our walkway, which was very sweet of them.
So, yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So we'll be up posting. I'm still probably going to post like little videos and stuff like I usually do. We have gotten some feedback from other people that are about to go through transplant or that have CTLA4. And it's always nice to hear from anybody who's also dealing with this, because like, it's building our community. And the last people that reached out to us,
people explain how this is helping them, or talking to the right people or getting the right information.
Even just hearing that, like watching our videos and stuff has helped people, or like the informative ones and the ones where like I'm really candid and talk about how much this sucks and stuff. Getting feedback from that and having people say that like it's helping them through this is like, it's a motivator one. And it just like, I'm like, all right, I'm not suffering for nothing.
Yeah. Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
We'll do a channel update relatively soon, though, because we're going to try some new outlets and putting this on Spotify and a few other places. So we'll put up all the links and information to that later.
Yeah, that way we're like a real podcast. You can either watch us on like our vlogging thing on YouTube, or you can listen to us on Spotify when you're driving.
Yeah.
Or whatever channel we're going to be on.
All right. So I think that's all we have today for the CTLA4 Chronicles.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Like, comment, subscribe, share. We love to hear from you guys. I really do love hearing like all these stories and stuff. It's great. So please don't hesitate. Reach out. We got a lot going on. We'll, reply when we can. But
yeah, you guys can private message us on any one of these apps that we're using as well, whether it's like Facebook, TikTok, or something else. If you don't want to leave a public comment on YouTube.
Yeah, my phone is almost always in my hand, so I will reply. But thanks for joining us.
All right. Thank you.